Hey everybody, day 27, and today I'm just going to talk for a minute about ketofying a recipe. So if there's a favorite recipe you have, like for us it was chili, and it's on the menu, the low carb beanless chili. So my wife, Crystal Lee, has had this chili for quite a while. We've had it many times over the years, and we just modified the recipe to make it very low carb. Did at one time call for brown sugar, which we now omit. It had a lot of beans in it, which would make it very high carb. I think taking the beans out totally, reduces the carbs huge to where it's actually, possible to have a bowl of it without hitting your 20 grams of carbs before you get halfway through. So you can do that with a lot of recipes. When you do a search for a recipe online, you get looking at stuff, you kind of start to get an eye for it. Like a stir fry, for instance, it might have peas in it, or carrots, or a lot of red peppers. You could switch this out and use green beans or green peppers, broccoli, and for something like a stir fry there might be a sauce that could have a lot of sugar in it. You could switch that out for a bit of sesame seed oil, which will really give it a nice flavor. Maybe a little bit of soy or something similar to soy for flavoring. So it's just kind of going from sweet to savory on some recipes. As far as switching out, if it's baked goods, which I don't really recommend, I don't really have a lot of them, just because I know when you start doing a lot of keto desserts, you're kind of asking for problems. Just because you can overdo them so easy. If you guys have ever done them, low carb desserts, they can just be addictive. You can end up overdoing it with them, having them every day, and just end up having too much. They can cause some inflammation because a lot of times they're only omega-6 fats. You don't have a lot of good fats in them. But that being said, every once in a while we'll do something up, like the fathead pizza, for instance. And instead of having regular pizza dough and wheat flour, you're switching it out for almond flour. There are a few ketofy bread recipes out there. Somebody made them up. Somebody figured this out. They're using eggs, egg whites, cream cheese sometimes, and almond flour or coconut flour. So sometimes there's substitutes. I don't suggest having a lot of those things, but there's a lot of times there is a way to turn a recipe and do something you can have. You might look at something and think it is keto already. You get looking at it and there's sugar in it, and then you just think, well, I can't have that. But you could have a substitute like Swerve. Swerve is just erythritol, and I think it has a little bit of stevia extract. Swerve is a really good sugar replacement. Can be used in baking, cooking. If you need to sweeten up the chili, for instance, or another recipe that calls for sugar and everything's keto except for, it has 3 tablespoons of table sugar and it just wouldn't be edible without sweetening it up a little bit. That's when, a sugar substitute like Swerve or erythritol would come in handy, and now you have something that is keto friendly. We've done that with a few, and some of the stuff that's on the menu right now are just recipes that we found or been using for a long time, and we've just made them low carb. I think that's about all I have to say about it. If you guys have a favorite recipe that if you've ketofyed it and made it low carb, please share, guys, down below. I'm always looking for new recipes, trying out something new, especially if it's good, like the curry coconut chicken. I think it called for sugar originally, and now we use, if you want to sweeten that up a little bit, you can use a little bit of Swerve or erythritol. And you know, you'd be surprised how many recipes out there can actually be made low carb just by making a few small modifications. So let me know, guys, if you have anything that comes to mind, and we will continue to find these and share. I'm going to be adding more of these every month. For the next round, I'll be finding more. Probably for this month, I've probably added some new menu items. You know, I love looking for recipes. If it sounds really good, I'll try my low carb version here at home. If it needs modified or tweaked, you know, I'll test it a few times and then write it out. Once you get a recipe that's really low carb and it tastes good, then, you know, save it. Save it in a text file, a document, and, you know, share it with your friends.